Over here at the north, the top location in the red, a very skilled Zerg player. His ID is
Zenio.
Artosis has a nasty cough today.
Sorry.
Over here in the blue, our other OGS Zerg player is
jukto.
Jukto Jung with a few fans here cheering him on. As you can see, thumbs up.
Absolutely.
So, you know, due to these locations, and this is one of the weird things about Zerg vs. Zerg.
Overlord Kiss.
Overlord Kiss, mwah. One weird thing about these locations, and this isn't true for Zerg vs. Zerg in all StarCraft 2 maps, but it was true in StarCraft 1 in Zerg vs. Zerg almost always, is that your Overlord gets there and gets to see at least the first few initial structures.
Yeah. That's very important.
And that's what makes it kind of weird, because it's very difficult to mask what you're going to do.
Yeah, in fact, in StarCraft 1, there was no queen, so you'd have to go all the way to Mutalisk. And if the Overlord got there, you actually just would see everything that goes on, and it became a game of who could get the later spawning pool.
Yeah.
Everyone would want to just keep on making drones, because even one more drone makes a huge difference. Now these two keeping pretty much the same exact build. As you see, their spawning pools are pretty much lined up with each other. Their gas is lined up with each other. So we're not going to see, actually, the hatchery first, which almost breaks my mind, because it's actually such a good build order, especially on this map. It's so easy to defend things on. But it looks like instead they're going to do some one base play. Based upon the time of their gas, I'm guessing they're going to get speed upgrades immediately and probably go Speedling, Baneling, and try to kill each other. But we have seen in the past some Korean Zergs like to get speed and expand. It's actually not a very good build order, but they love it anyways. So we'll have to see.
Queen coming out. This is going to trigger the Overlords to move away.
Yeah, Zenio actually moved away a little bit too quick there, I felt. Oftentimes you want to just sit it there an extra couple seconds and then move it out so that you can see if they, you know, are trying to get a little bit quicker Baneling Nest. But he is, in fact, getting speed. Speed for both players, in fact.
Usually players park the Overlords south of the big ramp. As you can see, we just got a shot of it there, so that they can spot and see if there's a ton of lings or anything else headed towards them.
Quite true. We do have a Baneling Nest being made for jukto. And look at that, a Spine Crawler for Zenio. So this is where they're going to change their strategy.
He might tech.
Yeah, Zenio definitely going to tech. You're quite right there, Tasteless.
Thank you.
Probably going to get several Spine Crawlers once he realizes, see these two Zerglings going to go in. They're going to find out what's going on. When they see the Baneling Nest, we're going to see him throw down more Spine Crawlers.
And guys, this is one thing that's really important. If you're learning Zerg vs. Zerg, you have to scout with lings.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to do a second scout with lings. You can almost always get two lings in there and get an idea of what they're doing. Baneling Nest.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting, because oftentimes in this situation, you just make a bunch of Spine Crawlers and use your gas to tech up to Mutalisks. But Zenio, instead, is going to use Banelings for defense, which is completely fine, completely doable. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So it's going to be a very safe build. He's going to be more of a defensive Banelinger here because he does have that Spine Crawler. So basically, jukto is probably going to run up, start attacking, see if he can't get something done. But Zenio should be able to hold quite easily. He has two queens, he has the Spine Crawler, he's going to have defensive Banelings. If he gets broken by this, I will be absolutely amazed.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page as you are, Tosis. I mean, of course, it is ZVZ, and it is Banelings that are involved here, so one or two small mistakes, and that just changes everything. So, so much on the line right now for just a few seconds of unit control.
Oh, no.
Oh, nice.
jukto attack moves, and both of his Banelings hit one Baneling of Zenio's. He's already ridiculously behind. That makes a huge difference. Look at that, another two Banelings down. And at this point, Zenio has a nice lead. It may not look like a lot, but it is. Every little piece of gas means so much. Zenio has a much quicker layer. He has that second queen, which unfortunately for jukto he does not have. And already he's got, Infestation Pit. Now, you can either go Mutas or Infestors. And
Infestors can be quite good if your opponent's also going Mutas.
Oh, absolutely.
You can grab them with that fungal growth, and you can LOL at them with the queen.
Yeah, the queen has greater distance than the Mutalisk for attack, so actually the Mutas can't even hit. So a really cool choice. I do like one-base Infestor builds if you are going to go one base. It's really awesome. Now, Jukto, if he actually goes Muta and it's this late as his Mutas are going to be because of the much later layer, the much more Banelings being produced, he's going to get so far behind because the Infestors are just going to own up everything.
Yeah, it basically becomes this terrible math problem where there's really no way you're going to get greater numbers of Mutas, and that means no greater position.
Yeah.
That also means the Overlords can be bullied off the map, so suddenly you are almost suffocated.
And there it is, the Spire for Jukto. If you are a betting man, go bet all your money on OGS Zenio. This is almost an unwinnable position for Jukto.
Yeah.
There's going to be Infestors already out with fungal growth before the Mutas even hatch.
Yeah.
So I mean, normally when it's layer versus layer, one base versus one base, the Mutas will get there, and you'll have this scary time where the Mutas are going to do some damage because you're not prepared. But Zenio is absolutely more than prepared. He's in a great position, and I'd be so surprised if Jukto can pull this out with his Mutalisk tech.
The Spire is almost...
Cancels the Spire. I guess he realizes. I think he must have just sent a Zergling up, saw the Infestors. Oh my god, Infestors are already out. Cancel that Spire. Get my money back. And but the thing is, now the Infestors are already out, and that's going to help in Roach battles as well. So both of them are expanding, but again, Zenio looking superb.
Yeah, just superb. Talk about snap call decision making.
Yeah, very good choice. He had to cancel it. It was an auto loss. If he didn't, right now he is behind. It's going to be an uphill game, but not an auto loss.
Look at this perfectly timed drone transfer.
Yep.
As you can see, there is the Automaton 2000. Our favorite neutral unit here at GOM TV.
It is. Yep. Forget the Panda Bear guy. It's all about little robots now.
I'm done with him.
This is StarCraft 2. This is in the zoo.
Yeah, man.
Ooh, Jukto making a Hydralisk den. I don't know really what to say about this because Hydralisks get owned by Infestors pretty quickly.
Well, that and they don't really move quickly off creep.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to expand creep all the way to your opponent's base.
Which helps him as well.
And then the other thing is that, of course, if you expand creep all the way to your opponent's base, you better be okay with it having a very quick trip towards your base.
Yep.
Overseer is going to see well, basically all the tech there.
Wow. He even sees the Hydralisk den start to dance, which means that, of course, it's upgrading Hydralisk range, so a ton of gas being spent. I think what we're going to see from Jukto is a timing attack when that +1 finishes.
I want to clarify something Artosis said. When he said the Hydralisk den starts to dance, that's an expression we use. The building begins to have an animation, which indicates that it's upgrading, excuse me.
Yeah.
So that way, if you get good at mastering that, if you get good at looking at the building and being like, wait a minute, the building has some animation running, that means some upgrades coming. That's good to know.
Yeah. So the unit combos here, we're going to have Roaches along with Hydras with range, and he's going for the +1. And then we're just going to have Roaches and Infestors for OGS Zenio. So basically, they have the same number of drones, right around the same number. Zenio is actually getting 2 evolutions, as we are seeing there, which is pretty, it's kind of interesting. So he wants to actually just play a slow game. Yeah, definitely going for a slow game, which is the right choice, really.
There is a changeling which has scouted him here.
And, well, those Zerglings are dead. You know, this is good play by Zenio. He's just slowing it down. Gonna get his upgrades, make a lot of Infestors all game, make a bunch of Roaches. Thing is, there's no long term in what Jukto is really doing. It's not all in by any means, but there's no real long term to it because he doesn't have those spellcasters. But he is making a hive right now, a hive in Jukto Jung space. So that is quite interesting. He's just rushing up to hive, and I'm thinking he's going to go Ultra, to be honest with you. I know it sounds crazy,
that would be interesting.
But, you know, the fungal growth doesn't work on Ultras, and Ultras deal that additional damage to Roaches, so that definitely could be. I can't imagine what else he'd be going with this. Oh, no, he throws up a Spire now. He's just totally messing with me. So jukto throwing up a Spire and a Hive. So he wants Broodlords, but the Spire is quite late, so they're going to be pretty late.
Now, one thing about, oh, nice gooping, excuse me, gooping is the slang term for it. Contamination here on the layer. That's very frustrating. Can't get that larva inject off.
Yeah.
One thing I gotta say, man, and it is so true. If you don't agree with this, you're crazy. Zerg vs. Zerg in StarCraft 2 is so much better than Zerg vs. Zerg in StarCraft 1.
Yeah, I would pretty much go with that.
Yeah.
Zerg vs. Zerg in StarCraft 1 is this really crazy, funny matchup that's completely micro-based and quite rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Unless you're Jaedong.
That's true, and then it's just Jaedong, rock, paper, scissors, Jaedong beats all.
It's true. Now he's tearing down the rocks here in the center. I don't necessarily know if this is a good idea, because if I had additional expansion and, you know, I'm basically would be in a better position. There's no need to open up a pathway for a guy who's 2-base. He might have more units.
Yeah.
An economy-heavy playstyle, not worth it, in my opinion. But I don't know. I mean, let's find out.
I think his thought process here is going to be, okay, I'm afraid of Broodlords. I want to hit you before you get those out. And he's going to go ahead.
Nice fungal infested Terrans.
A ton of infested Terrans come out. They actually have pretty good DPS, and those are going to help him in this battle quite a bit. And so this is a crazy engagement right now, and it is almost hard to tell what's going on. But jukto seems to be holding here.
The concave always beats the convex, and in this case, he allowed himself to get into a convex.
Yeah, this is actually...
This is why I don't think this was a good idea. He's now opened up the door.
That, as well as there were spine crawlers in there.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So, and he threw up those infested Terrans, maybe not in the best situation. Some fungal growths, additional fungal growths would have helped more. But now jukto overextending there. You know,
the problem with coming out of this this hallway in this area is that basically you're always going to be in the convex when you enter it. You can always have a better surface area to attack you with. Quite
true. So jukto wasting a few units there. Should have been a little bit more careful, but you see, better economy right now for Zenio. Thing is, the Greater Spire is done. So Zenio's got to be careful, because if Broodlords pop out, that's going to change everything.
He's shown the Corruptors.
Yeah, and there they go. He's got to hold on here, and it looks like he's going to.
I think he will.
Yeah, he's actually taking a very nice defensive posture.
Nice, a few additional Zerglings in here to block any retreating units.
Yeah, very gas heavy to go Broodlords, so adding in some Zerglings at this point, quite reasonable. Gonna scout with that Corruptor perhaps, see what's waiting for him. And Neural Parasite has not been upgraded. That is something that you can do to help deal with Broodlords.
No, that's a good way to approach that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always the best
exactly,
call, but he doesn't have a lot of
options.
options.
Orthodox, but
yeah.
Now the problem is that if you can't touch the Broodlord, you're not going to win the battle.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that simple.
Notice how they are just floating in almost alone at this point. I mean,
normally you see Broodlords with heavy ground cover. In this case,
he's being careful. He does not want, a fungal growth followed up by a bunch of infested Terrans trying to take him out.
Yep.
There's not a lot of options for Zenio on how to actually kill these. He is popping some of his own Corruptors to help out. Of course, Corruptors are going to get a bonus of damage against the Broodlords.
Yeah.
But right now, Zenio just has a totally sick economy.
Now, if Zenio hangs on here, he just got the gold base. If he survives this Broodlord attack, the game is over. Zenio wins. But this is going to be pretty damn hard to deal with.
Yeah. Broodlords are going to be tough. Especially with all these other units coming in.
Hydra's here to cover the Broodlords.
That's right. You should be targeting on those Corruptors. And
he'll do anything to take those out.
Yep. The Hydras, of course, will kill as much quicker than they'll kill Broodlords. And it is looking like jukto is going to be able to take this game. This is actually quite a wild, strange game.
Talk about it. This is almost like the in a Terran versus Protoss, or Protoss versus Terran rather, in StarCraft 1, where you just try to tech to those carriers, 3-base versus 3-base, and you just get enough.
And it's getting pretty crazy at this point. Zenio has to hold on, and I think he, in fact, may.
He may very well. But there's a lot of roaches coming up here to follow up with these Broodlords.
Yeah, but the Broodlord's
angle...
taken out by those Corruptors, so that's going to make him stabilize here. And stabilizing is absolutely all Zenio had to do.
Actually, I think he just did it.
Yeah, he held on, and that is, I mean, he is really ahead now because he's got the gold base, he's got the third base as well. And at this point, jukto is out of options. Doesn't have anything going for him right now. Going to counterattack on this third base, but Zenio going to be there, lickety split.
I do believe the upgrade advantage here is in favor of Zenio as well.
Yeah, that's quite true. It is 2-1 against 1-0. And I think we'll be seeing a GG momentarily here. Even casting contamination on roaches.
Well, there's just nothing else he can do.
Yeah, the game is at this point over. He is just trying to draw him around in other locations, but of course that's not going to do anything.
So now, guys, we're just going to see Zenio come in here. And, you know, once he gets in here into the main base, where all the key tech structures are, he can basically put this blue Zerg jukto back into the Stone Age. And that basically is game GG.
GG. Yeah, so Zenio wins in what was a very close match but should not have been. Just to kind of go over what we saw there. The part where he threw up a bunch of infested Terrans and threw down one fungal may not have been the absolute best choice there.
I just don't think it was necessary. You know, I almost want to call this the Artosis rule, because you've been putting this issue so well, and you've been articulating it much better than me. It's simple. If you're ahead, let's say you got 3 bases and your opponent has 2 bases, you don't need to just go and attack him.
You don't need to kill your opponent.
You don't need to kill
Here's the thing. Unless you are doing an all-in attack, you don't need to kill your opponent.
Yeah.
There's so few situations. Yes, there are some, so don't jump all over me. But overall, a good rule for all of us out there, including pro gamers, even the top players in the entire world, make this mistake over and over and over. You don't actually have to go kill your opponent. For instance, he saw that he was going Broodlord tech. He saw it was like Hydra with some roaches. You know that's going to cost a lot of gas. What are the options that Zenio has? He can attack in with all that. Maybe not the best choice. You might want to do something like start making Mutalisks. He's not going to be able to keep on making Hydras. Do something safe. Don't just go in and attack.
There's no need to go try to kill him because, you know, all you have to do is just sit on your 3 bases. Your economy should be better. All you have to do is keep making units. It's actually his burden to try to do something, not yours. Even though Zenio won that, I mean, this is something important that people should know.
Yeah.
Rarely,
he won, but there was a lot of mistakes. It's a little bit different in, like, you know, the first 10 minutes. There's a few timing attacks you can do, but when you get into this, you know, standard mid game, it's actually much more simple than I think some of these guys are treating it. So, yeah, I mean, you just had to sit back and focus. He didn't need to carve a hole. I mean, he had all these fungals saved up, and instead he decided, all right, I'll use infested Terrans. Infested Terrans are great in certain situations. That in particular was not the best. You know, the Hydras have a lot of DPS. They're going to take out those eggs pretty quick. Anyways, 5-minute break.
We'll be back, guys.
Yes.
See you soon.
Gonna get warm again.